Welcome to the Crypto Mobcast, hosted by me, a sexy hot female from the UK.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Morning, mate. I'm doing really well. Not too bad. Bit of shitty weather now, aren't we? So no more sun. How about yourself?
Same, mate. Only a few miles up the road, and it's pretty much rained every day. It's rained for you, so it's been pretty gash, really. Luckily, though, got most of my garden done. Just need to do one little bit, but it's only June. Hopefully, this isn't the end of the summer.
Yeah, hopefully not.
Now, it's time for Would You Rather?
Would you rather have a fart disorder or bad smelly personal hygiene that is noticeable?
Ooh. That's a hard one because if you're in public spaces, you're either going to stink all the time or stink and be noisy.
You're going to stink no matter what, aren't you, really? So it's just, I mean, it's quite embarrassing if you walk past somebody and they absolutely stink a beer, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's also very embarrassing if you walk past them and you literally lit up the whole room with the ripper of a bar.
It's quite funny though, isn't it?
Oh, sorry.
You can see.
It's like having Tourette's, isn't it? It's Tourette's in the arse.
Yeah, you can see the funny side to farts, whereas BO is just downright disgusting.
Yeah, there is no funny side to pure hygiene. Like when I was in the military, right? And when I was going through basic training, there was a guy that was like 2 beds away from me, and he wouldn't shower. He was an absolute grot bag, and like we had to force him in the showers, and it was horrible. And no, like, when you used to do your fizz and that, no, he just wouldn't wash, and he just used to stink, and he actually got pulled up for it. But that's just basic choice, isn't it? It's like anything, like you choose to wash, but
that's the issue when you first join military and you get people from people from deprived backgrounds and people from different backgrounds altogether. And one of the first lessons while I were in army, one of the first lessons you get is how to wash yourself and how to brush your teeth. You get a big 30-year-old hairy bastard in the shower showing you how to wash his balls and
happened with us, mate. Literally the same. It's the same thing. Literally, basics is all the same, pretty much. And like, it is a different world. But for me to answer that question, I'd rather have a fat disorder because at least there's a bit of humour to it.
Yeah, I agree.
And not all farts stink as well. Just to put it out there, sometimes you get the good ones.
You might not even be able to hear them. It could be silent and violent, so that won't be too bad, would it?
Yeah, but sometimes the violent ones are like, people do look at you in a funny way and go, I'd rather you smell a BO, mate.
You could just drop it and just run away and pretend it's not you. Or blame
Imagine
it
going on a run. Imagine running with
it. Best thing to do is blame it on your dog. That's the best thing to do.
Well, the thing with my dog, she burps and farts anyways. Like, her burps are really noticeable. Like, they're quite... When we got people around... Well, when we had people around back before COVID-19, like if she'd have food, she'd like come in the middle of the room and just like burp, and I was like, that dog is so mine. Like, she takes after me all the way, and she farts a lot as well. Like, it's really, really bad for it. Terrible dog. I don't know what I've done with her.
Lovely.
This week's news and what's hot, other than me.
Off with a bit of decentralized finance. So the DeFi platform Celsius hits 1 billion in cryptocurrency deposits. It's fairly whack, isn't it? The platform claims that it has returned 80% of its revenue to its users and has so far paid its community of cryptocurrency holders $17 million in interest rewards, $12 million of which was in Bitcoin, and $3 million was in its native CEL token. I've not heard of Celsius, but I'll just have a read further into it. Is the growth of the platform in recent months has been considerable despite the coronavirus pandemic having an adverse effect on most businesses. In March this year, Celsius CEO Alex Mashinsky claimed that their platform was the first major cryptocurrency lending platform that has turned profitable. To further expand its use base, Celsius revealed last month that it was adding support to tokenized gold. The platform will also be adding tokenized commodities in the future. Sounds like they are doing well, which is... We've not heard much about recently, have we, with these companies, especially leading companies in, like, for example, the SP 500 and FTSE 100.
Yeah, there's a few companies that are doing quite well in certain industries, not all, but
Medical's a big one.
Yeah, there's a few coins that have been doing quite well due to just development and just people getting airtime, really, which is quite good.
Yes, yeah. $1 million from decentralized finance. That the overall market cap hit $1 billion. I think it was just at the beginning of this year. So noting that just one of the apps itself has raised $1 billion since it started is massive. That really, isn't it?
That's good for the decentralized finance sector, anyways, because I think that will be a sector that will grow quite nicely over time.
Oh, definitely, I agree. Right, we'll move on to OKEX, your favorite exchange. So OKEX continues their ongoing OKB token buyback. So cryptocurrency exchange OKEX announced the 8th round of buyback for its platform's proprietary OKB token. Spit it out. In June 5th announcement, OKEX announced at the start of the 8th and largest buyback of the tokens. From the March 1st to May 31st, exchange bought and burned back over 3.5 million of their tokens, which with current prices $5.35, and that translates to $18.7 million we've wiped away. OKEX buyback initiative was launched in early May 2019. There was still 300 million of a token in circulation. After its last burn, there's only 20.67 million tokens remaining. I've not ever personally held any of them. I do hold a few exchange tokens. I hold the BNB for Binance, and I hold KCS for KuCoin. But I think there's a little bit of money to be made in these, especially in the future when we start getting a bull run and people are looking for some returns, some percentage as off their trades. And I think they will start to move, and that'll be the same for OKB as well.
The thing with OKB, it's relatively new as well. Like they've never really had one. It's a very, very new coin, and they are getting a lot of traction into the Western side of the world now. And when I openly speak to them, they approached me a while back saying, "Do you guys want to try us? Because we don't actually have that many people from the Western side." And it's very, very apparent when you start looking at the website, and they are changing a lot of things to make it better for us guys, because the way that the Chinese and the Asians use exchanges is a little bit different to us. So their platform is actually built out for that side of the world, and they love it. It's the highest liquidity provider, but when we go into that exchange, it's like a bit weird. It's like, oh, it's nice, I like it, but there's some things that are a bit off. But with the token, I quite like the CEO. I think he's if you watch him or see him on Twitter, he's very, very level-headed. He's not like CZ, who's an absolute shilling twat. He is very, very level-headed. He's very, very realistic, and he's very, very approachable as well. So that's good for the exchange. But I do think that now we're seeing more whales on that exchange playing around with the volume. That's going to be very, very good. You've got much higher liquidity in nighttime, whereas on other exchanges you don't tend to have that. So it's going to be interesting to see where this token goes. I recommended it on one of my YouTube videos as an undervalued altcoin because it was new, and it's already went up 190% since that video, and it's probably going to go further. And you've already said it. Exchange coins, in my viewpoint, the same as yours, in a bull run, will make a ton of money because there's an incentive there to hold them to get reduced fees, or there's certain permissions that you get by holding them. It's the same as crypto.com. Great example. You can stake it. You can do all kinds of shit with it. That is going to grow over time as that business model gets bigger. It's the same as Zilliqa. Zilliqa, the more people use the application, build on it, the token is used to power that application. Same as NeoGas. All kinds of coins like that are going to be very, very fundamental in terms of growth of an ecosystem. And OKX have a very, very good and a very, very solid ecosystem that is going to get bigger and will most likely smash BitMEX out of the park. Already has by the looks of it. The other exchanges as well. And I think OKX versus Binance and Huobi are going to be the three that will probably battle each other. Then you've got the smaller exchanges like Bybit and stuff that are really, really good for functionality, but probably won't ever get to that standard. So exchange coins for me, just to go on a little bit of a tangent, if you're using the exchange, there's no harm in holding some, just a little sum, just in case, because you may get a value appreciation on them. You may also get reduced fees. So why not just hold some just in case?
Yeah, there's no harm in holding. Like I said before, I've been holding KuCoin, which is KCS, and it's been trading around $1 now for the last 3 or 4 months, and and that's been up at $23 when we're in that crazy bull run. It just shows some of these coins can move, and same way OKB. That's not even been through a bull run, and that's ranked 33 out of all cryptocurrencies. So it does show that there's potential there for some massive gains if it's not been through a bull run and it's already sitting at around, what is it now? It's $5 a coin. It's a fair old chunk that, and it could move quite a lot.
It's decent. Like their following is massive. Like I don't think people realize how big their exchange really is. Like when you look at the stats and the liquidity, it's like fucking hell. Like the miners use it. Like they've got so many partnerships with miners. And that's why we're seeing big, massive execution of orders through OKX. Simple as that. It's a miner selling, and we can see it.
Correct. Right. Let's move on to a little bit of lawsuit news. So Bittrex, Polynex added to the lawsuit claiming Tether manipulated the Bitcoin market. The lawsuit alleging stablecoin issuer Tether and sister exchange Bitfinex manipulated the market is getting bigger. So on Wednesday, cryptocurrency exchanges Bittrex and Polynex became the latest defendants, accused of fraudulently toying with crypto asset prices in an ongoing class action, whose plaintiffs have been pursuing Tether and Bitfinex on allegations of fraud, deception, and market manipulation since October 2019. There's a huge 156-page document, and it continues to allege that Tether and Bitfinex orchestrated a grand scheme to launder and circulate bitcoins of allegedly unbacked USDT stablecoins throughout the market to the detriment of their customers. And then it just goes into further naming the people and what can potentially happen. But we know it over the last 6 months, the amount of Tether that's been printed off, and we did do a podcast on that, it's been insane. There's money just getting printed left, right, and centre, and I think it's more than doubled, if not tripled, the actual market cap of Tether, which is insane. And there's no reason why there's a lawsuit in place now.
It's gonna get worse. Like that print is just gonna fucking ruin people, and I don't think people realize how it all works. And the ecosystem of printing money sucks, right? We know it. It increases inflation, but it also increases issues in cryptocurrency. And the fact that all the old school exchanges from, like, if you started cryptocurrency in like 2016, you would have used Bittrex, you would have used Bitfinex and Poloniex, all those exchanges, right? You would have used Tether as well at some point, but it was tiny back then. It was hardly bloody used. And now it's like the rank 3 coin. It's like 10 billion market cap. It's freaking ridiculous. And it's all been literally manipulated since April this year. Like realistically, when you think it's been manipulated in the past in terms of how it's been used, but we've seen some absolute turbo prints the last few weeks, and we've already covered it. And it doesn't help that Tron, my favorite friend, is a part of the system now. And he's just a mega knobhead, basically. Like, he will manipulate anything for his own gain. He doesn't give a shit. And he's absolutely reckless in that way. And there is no surprise that every single Tron blockchain issue so far for Tether has been stupid. And there've been 100 million and 200 million for the last, 6 weeks in a row, just flying out.
Yeah, it's getting close to around 3 billion now. I've not checked. Justin usually tweets about it once he's had the Tether issued. And I've not checked it recently because I can't stand looking at his profile. But yeah, it is getting close to around 3 billion now, which is insane because you'd have thought somebody would have to give some dollars for these Tether, but he's not got $3 billion in currency to swap for them Tether, so fuck knows what's going on there.
Well, that's the thing. Like, he's literally printed more than what the valuation of Tron's worth, realistically. And Tron's shit. It is such a shit coin. I just don't get it. And it shouldn't be as high as it is. And you look at what's on there and its partnerships, it's freaking nah. You know, when you compare it to other coins that are of that ilk, nowhere near is Tron going to develop into something. And all they're doing is pumping it. Tron 4.0, fuck me, man. Fucking buying shitty companies just to, like, rinse them. Nah, it's not a good ecosystem. And, like, Tron, in my eyes, is one of the riskiest cryptos you can actually hold, like, because of who's in charge. Like, you don't buy a company who's got someone who doesn't care and will literally dump his bags on you. Will literally pump them and dump them. And he uses like circle of friends to do the same thing. And I think Binance are in cahoots with them. And Binance has been a bit ropey recently. So, yeah.
There's always that well-known saying that comes from Justin's son. He always does an announcement for an announcement. And that's where he just tries to pump everything before he wants to pump it. And it just lines up for every time he wants to actually dump his coins on the investors, which is shit.
Yep. It works all the time.
It does.
It sucks.
Right. And I'm just going to read a piece of news now, which will lead us into the main topic of today. So Bloomberg expects Bitcoin to double to $20,000 this year. It says something needs to go really wrong for it not to appreciate. Bloomberg expects it to rise 20k. The firm sees Bitcoin breaking away from other cryptocurrencies and says the digital currency has increasingly favorable fundamentals and technicals, which is a bit of bullshit, to be honest. There's a lot more technical aspects to other coins. Last week, Goldman listed 5 reasons investors should avoid Bitcoin. That adds to the story. And the most popular cryptocurrency has so far many favorable fundamentals and technical factors that something needs to go really wrong. The company said history indicated that Bitcoin should return to 20k in 2020. And then Bitcoin will approach a high record of 20k this year. These are all lines from Bloomberg. Bitcoin's maturation, fueled by growing acceptance of digital currencies, the ability to trade Bitcoin futures, and the steady decline in volatility should keep it tilted towards price appreciation, the research note says. Well, I don't know where they're getting the research from, but I can't see it hitting. Well, it could do towards the end of the year, but before any of that happens, it's going to go down.
We know that the volume's low. It's very, very obvious. Technical aspect of Bitcoin is shit.
It is. It's slow. It's one of the slowest currencies out there to transfer to anybody. And it
is the slowest.
It is, yeah.
No two ways about it. That's where I think the narrative of Bitcoin is missold, right? I don't think it's useful in any way, shape, or form to send money, right? It's fucking crap. You look at XRP, that is the one, right? That's what you use. If you use other platforms like dApps, obviously Ethereum, etc., all kinds of good stuff. But Bitcoin for me has to work as a store of value. It has to work. If it doesn't work as a store of value, it's shit, right? It doesn't work. It's a failed project. It's not failed in that way, but it fails to stand the process of time and all kinds of stuff. It has to basically be the ecosystem for the whole network to work and be secure and all kinds of stuff. If that does that, easy, because scarcity will come into it, all kinds of good stuff. But no one is going to, in my viewpoint, if it becomes a scarce asset, which it should, with the obviously how it all works in the mining and all kinds of malarkey, no one's going to be sending it. They're going to be selling it and using it and all kinds of other stuff for different purposes. They're not going to be going to the shops and going, I'm going to buy a latte with Bitcoin. They're not going to wait 10 minutes for the block to confirm neither. We still need a layer 2 scalability solution. Potentially Ethereum could be that option as well. Have you heard about that? That's weird. It's Ethereum layer 2 where you can basically use Ethereum network to send Bitcoin. It's pretty cool. Good idea. It's probably going to be better than the Lightning Network, but that's very, very underdeveloped, so we're probably not going to talk about it just yet. But for me, right, all these predictions are pulled out their ass, right? We have still not proven that we're recession-proof. We're still not proven that, it stores value. I think over time, there's more emphasis on the fact that it will become less volatile as a market gets bigger, but it needs to get bigger. Then you got the altcoins that will probably be more volatile. It's like looking at index funds and stuff like that. Bitcoin will probably become an index fund in that way. In a weird way, it'll be one entity, but it'll be a lot less of them. There'll be much bigger markets to move it in terms of volume, because then it'll become, it should become quite stable, but we've not got there yet. I mean, freaking hell, this year we've already went from 10k down to 3k, back up to 10k, right? That's a great stable asset. Great. Nice one, boys. It doesn't work. And that's where people get really caught up in the emotions of what Bitcoin really is. And what Bitcoin is not a payment solution. No, it's not a DApp. No, it's not a privacy coin. No, it should be the ecosystem, right? And the ecosystem should be steady. It should be stable. It should give us a good factor of what's happening in the market. But until that happens, I mean, the thing is, right? And I know I'm going a little bit off topic a little bit, but if people are bringing up these massive, massive predictions, right? Why aren't we all not just fucking pressing the long button and just going to the moon with it? We're not. The markets move in cycles, and people do look very, very silly when they start putting out $250,000 predictions based off technology. The technology is not what are buying it; it's scarcity and how the model works, and that's it. Like in that way, it needs to prove that alone. And I think we need to do a few more halvings. We need to get a few more buyers holding and keep holding for that to mature over time. And it will take time. And I think that's why some altcoins will do much better in terms of returns. And people buying Bitcoin at 10K are just fucking idiots.
I think I've always said it. I always think Bitcoin just there as a gateway to cryptocurrency. So it started off and it has put that technology in place that people can use, but people are just going to keep building and building and making things better and better. And it'll get pushed down structure eventually, I reckon. I remember just talking about market cycles as well. And I'm not too keen on this bloke, but I remember when I first got into crypto and then it mooned up to 20K. And Richard Hart, he said, right, that's it now. We're going into a 3-year bull cycle. And he's not been wrong there, has he?
That's the thing. Like when you look at, it's a hard one with Bitcoin because I think I feel the same. I think it will slow down over time. Like volatility, it should over time slow down, and that's what we want. Realistically, we want to be able to hold Bitcoin, keep Bitcoin, and just have it as a store of wealth. In my view, that's what I want to believe, anyways. And that's whether that happens or not is a different thing. You'll have coins that will become more valuable. You'll have coins that will move more. You'll have coins that will make people a tremendous amount of money. But for me, the amount of money that's been made in Bitcoin has already been made, realistically. When you've got the people who used to mine it for like fucking 10 cents and used to get 1,000 Bitcoin or whatever in stupid amounts over a 6-month period, cool, happy days, woohoo. You know, that those days are gone. People believe that any altcoin, any coin, no matter what it is, will go up to Bitcoin levels where it doesn't work like that. The scarcity, the difficulty adjustment, the mining reward system, the whole element of what Bitcoin is as a narrative makes it valuable in that way, but not for what people actually feel it should be, where the new people think, oh, Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency, I can use it and buy it. Yeah, whatever. No. Like, I don't spend my Bitcoin realistically. I spend my Ethereum, which I shouldn't do because I feel that's quite valuable. But for me, people are missold on Bitcoin. That's what my personal view is. I think over time, it won't be as interesting because it won't move.
Let's talk. Use hashtag Crypto Mobcast to join in.
A question for you, which I want to lead into some price predictions I'm going to read off. But here's a question for you. What price do you think Bitcoin will be in 2037? And I don't want you to answer that, but this is the first prediction here from a bloke. I'm not going to read his name because I can't read it. But he's a founder of a social capital and co-owner of Golden State Warriors. And he thinks by 2037, Bitcoin will be $1 million. He's predicted the price will also reach $100,000 in the next 3 to 4 years. $1 million in 2037. Where's he pulled that from? His ass? I think he's pulled it out of his ass, hasn't he?
Either his ass or his ear. I just don't see it. With the futures market, when you add capital to the likes of, well, $1 million valuation as a market cap's already pretty high for 20, well, it'd be roughly about 19 million supply in circulation at that time. Maybe more. No, about 19 million, wasn't it? Anyways, enough of that. So then you've got to look at the other coins out then. Is it well, I don't know. It's a weird one because you got to think, well, if Bitcoin's worth $1 million, what will the likes of Ethereum would be worth? What would the likes of XRP be? For example, you're going to get into the trillion sector very, very quickly all over the market, and it'll be like too unrealistic. And a lot of people go, oh, it doesn't matter about the trillion. It doesn't matter about the market. Of course it does. If you've got a valuation of an asset that is worth freaking trillions and trillions and trillions, it's massive. But it all depends on, is it going to be a digital dollar, for example? How will that work? But personally, I don't think Bitcoin will ever hit $1 million.
No, I don't. I think it's just too far stretch, that is.
It's mental. And we'll obviously we're going to go into a lot of other predictions in a minute. But for me, the narrative of Bitcoin shouldn't be how much it's worth. It's how much it, steadies the ecosystem to allow people to buy in and use other cryptocurrencies. Simple as that. That's what it should be. But people are like, oh, it's going to go to $1 million. Well, fuck me. If it goes to $1 million, it corrects. Jesus. Because then you've got the problems with inflation and all kinds of stuff. I know there's like, you get so many, you can buy whatever Satoshi. You just buy one Satoshi, who cares, right? But overall, that's going to be a big problem anyways, because, it's still, in my view, it'll still be volatile if it is that amount of price. And imagine a crash from $1 million. Dear me.
Even more volatile at that price. It'd be insane, the movements. What would 5% be? It'd be about, bloody, I'm crap at maths, but it'd probably 10 grand swing or something deaf like that.
If you're holding a Bitcoin worth $1 million and we've gone down freaking 10% in a day, you feel it. You'd be like, oh, I feel a bit shit now. But when you consider that in the stock market, it's very, very rare that we go over 2% up or down. Like that's rare. It's like, whoa, that's a fucking amazing. That's a crash. That's Bitcoin, freaking hell. It sneezes and it loses 7%. I mean, that's what we need to change. That decimal point of basically no return of like volatility. We can't have volatile. If Bitcoin is volatile up into like, if we go, right, say for example, we go beyond 30K, right? Bitcoin cannot be as volatile as it is. If it is, it's going to be wrecking people left, right, and center. And people will then not even turn to Bitcoin, and then it won't even get to those numbers because people will be that wrecked. They'll be like, oh, fuck that. That's too much for me. Not worth it, is it?
It's not, no. Let's move on to a couple more predictions here. So we have several which are $1 million. So a bloke called Wences, he's his founder and CEO of Zappo Exchange. He says $1 million. John McAfee, he says $1 million.
He's fucking off the welt then, anyways.
He's high as fuck, so none of his predictions count. John Peffer is a partner at London-based family office Peffer Capital. He says 700 grand. Jeremy Liu, he's a partner of Lightspeed Ventures Partners. He says $500,000 by 2030. Mark Yusko, billionaire investor from Morgan Creek Capital, he's saying 400 grand. Roger Ver, he's quite well known in the space. He's saying 250 grand. Some massive predictions here. Pompilano, I'm surprised this isn't much. 100 grand by 2021. He's saying Pomp.
Yeah, he's fucking lunatic, isn't he?
He's mad. He'd buy Bitcoin at 100 grand. He would.
He'd tell everyone to buy it. Oh, we're back. We're finally in the ballroom, boys and girls. Fuck off. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Moving down to a few ones which are more. There's one here which is at quite a random price. Dan Moorhead, $533,000, 431.
He's an Elliott Wave nerd, isn't he?
Yeah. Ronnie Mowers, 50 grand by 2020. And then Ty Lopez, midterm, 60 grand. So moving down to some better predictions there, but the ones which are plus 100 grand are just silly, aren't they?
Maybe in like 50 years' time, who knows? But that might be governed by inflation. Like, we never know what inflation might do to the price of Bitcoin. We don't know. I think any price, like when I look now and I'm reading the shit I read, the stock to flow ratio basically invalidates itself, or the S2F, what fucking plan B model, fucking useless. that will basically invalidate itself in December 2021 if we don't get above 50K. I think that's a stretch in itself. It could get to 50K, but not in 14 months' time. Put it that way, or whatever, 15 months, give or take. That's where the model starts to get, oh, hello, we should be around 50K around October, just November, December of 2021. But put it this way, if everyone's looking, right, this is where I don't get the logic, right? You'll probably feel the logic. If enough eyeballs get on that stock to flow ratio, why the fuck is no one pumping it to that level?
Makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Because
people don't
for
believe
me,
it.
all the narrative of Bitcoin, right? And I've already said it's failed, it's wrong in that way. Everyone looks at cryptocurrency to get rich, right? There is a way to get rich quick, right? We know it. It's obvious. If you're a developer of something and it does well, you get rich quick. The average Joe, if he invests in something that does well, he gets rich quick. When you look at the stock market, it's more of a quick let's get rich steady sort of approach. With Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, like look at my Zilliqa, for example, I'm up like I'm pretty much 1x'd it already in like 2 weeks, right? That's pretty damn fast. Like you won't get that in the stock market. That's the beautiful thing about cryptocurrency. When you start putting out stupid predictions like, oh, Bitcoin in 2 years' time is going to be worth 100,000, in reality, it's only 9x, right? Give or take. It's not much. Like it is a lot in sums, but you can see altcoins. Look at Digitex; it's done an 8x in a matter of a month. Wow, not Digitex. Digibyte. Digitex. Fuck me.
That were 1,000% in the space of around 5 weeks, and
Exactly.
that absolutely took off with no news at all. I mean, it just started pumping, and it was moving 10-15% a day. And then by the time you know it, it's up 1,000%, and people are thinking when it gets to 1,000%, oh, shall I buy some now? Like, no, it's just pumped to 1,000%, and then it did retrace them, and people are whinging, oh God, it's stopped now. I've lost money. Well, yeah, you should have bought it 6 weeks ago when it started to move.
If Bitcoin did that, it'll be 100,000, right? And that's where the narrative of Bitcoin gets a bit unrealistic when you think, well, it's not going to do that quick because it's got, so many holders and not many people pumping it. Whereas with an altcoin, it's very, very possible. And that's where the money is. And people in my eyes are looking too much at Bitcoin and expecting Bitcoin to moon. But all the gains are actually elsewhere, in my viewpoint. Like if you know how to buy an altcoin and you've got no affiliation to it and you want to just grow Bitcoin, buy it low, sell it high, sell it back into Bitcoin every time, right? Simple as that. Accumulate your Bitcoin. You should not be, in my viewpoint, putting capital into Bitcoin at these levels. No way. You should be accumulating it through the undervalued altcoins, the likes of Zilliqa, man. If you put 1 Bitcoin into Zilliqa when I did it, you'd have 0.9 BTC in profit. Simple as that. Cool. You've just made a ton of money. You've basically made a lot of Bitcoin. Just sell it into Bitcoin, hold it, crack on, find another one, repeat. But people are like, I only want to make fiat. Well, what the fuck, man? What's the point? Always grow Satoshis, and all these wild predictions are wild, and it's all narrative to Bitcoin. And that's a problem where people don't understand the maths behind it. And the maths is wait for Bitcoin to go down, then buy a load, right? Because then you're going to get a bit better value appreciation overall, and institutions aren't going to buy this at the top. No way.
Not a chance. Not going to chance. It won't be buying at 10k, knowing the fact that it could drop 50% in the space of a day, and it's happened before, hasn't it?
Exactly, it's happened more than enough times over about 20 to 30%. So it's absolutely amazing to think the narrative that Bitcoin's going to go to the moon, when in reality it should be, I'm going to buy this altcoin, I'm going to sell it into Bitcoin, I'm going to accumulate as much Bitcoin as I can, because on the offset, we may go from 3K, 4K, 5K, whatever, up to 15, 20K. You can make a lot of money from doing that without having to hit those dizzy levels, because what's going to happen is people buy 1 Bitcoin and they'll sit on that 1 Bitcoin. They won't look at anything else. They'll just go, well, Bitcoin's going to value appreciate. if it doesn't value appreciate beyond 20k, then, well, what's the point? And it all comes down to the factor of, well, futures markets. If there was no futures markets, I think the predictions would be much more viable because it will happen. But now you got, like, we can short it. Shorters can make a way more money than bulls because you're making money on the asset, whereas on longs you're only realistically making value appreciation if you're invested in the asset. So there's so many ways to look at it, and that kind of puts a big curveball into the effect that since futures we've never had that element of, well, consistent growth. We've just died realistically when you look at the timeline. But then you got the consideration of ETFs and index funds using Bitcoin. We don't know how it's going to react, and I personally don't think we're going to have an ETF for a while just due to volatility. And you'll probably agree with me on that one. We've just kind of mentioned it. And in the way that Bitcoin should work, it should work in a way that it should be good for an investment portfolio if it is steady. And then we'll see what happens from there.
Yeah, with the holding on to it and waiting for value appreciation, one factor is people get quite attached to them as well, which can also be a problem. For example, altcoins like Zilliqa yourself, you get a bag and you see it shooting up so much percentage, and then people actually don't want to sell it, do they? And they hold on to it too long and watch it fly up and watch it fly down. And like you were saying the other day, I says you should sell some, but you also need to keep a bit, but also trade a bit as well, because otherwise you're going to get wrecked that way as well. And the same with Bitcoin. There's some of these people who are buying it at, say, for example, 10 grand and say, right, I'm never selling it, I'm going to hold on to it forever. And they'll watch it go way up. They'll watch it, for example, if it did 100 grand, they won't sell it then. They just wait till it comes back down and then, oh, I'll sell it at 11 grand.
Yeah. There's worse out there. Like, there's people that, like, very obvious. Like, Patrick said it the other day in the Zoom. When you left, he bought Dash at $80. He watched it go all the way up to $1,200, and then he's still holding it. He's not took any profit. Just he's like, I fucked up there.
You get too sentimental towards specific ones. I've done the same. I've bought coins in the past and absolutely loved a project, and I would not think anything would bad happen to it, but it does. You always get stung at tail, and you can't get too attached to them. Otherwise, you just end up watching it go up and down, and it's quite heartbreaking sometimes. You feel like you look one day and you say, for example, you put $1,000 in, and a couple of days later it's at 20, 30 grand, because that's how much we can move these altcoins. And the day after, you're back down to $1,000, and you think, fuck, why didn't I sell it?
Yeah, like too many people get attached to it. That's the problem, and we're all been there. It's greed. We all have it. We're all born with it. And the funny side is, like, the way I'm going to do with Zilliqa is I'm going to trade a part of it. Like, I'm committed to that. I'm like, I feel it's low anyway. It's low risk reward. But if that goes to like 25 cents, for example, and it tests that all-time high, or it tests like stupid levels, I'll be like, yeah, profit, please. Thank you. I'll be grateful for what the market gives you. And I will accumulate a part of that bag over time. And the idea is to grow a part of your Bitcoin, your other coins, whatever, without putting any extra capital in, so you can stay alive, basically. Because if it drops out of its arse, you don't want to be worrying about it. You want to actually add to it and know that the fundamentals haven't changed and the technical aspect's still there. And with altcoins, you can see it with Ethereum, where Ethereum went from $10 all the way up to freaking 1,400 and went all the way back down to 80. People will be selling their bags that they bought at $600, $700 at $80 because they fucking shit themselves. But the mindset should be, actually, well, I should have just bought a load at $80, dollar cost average, and got a much better order, and then wait and just chill, because it's still a fantastic opportunity to actually make some money in the market. But people just shit themselves and just go, oh, cryptocurrency is an absolute scam. This guy called John McAfee told me he's going to go to 1 million. It's bollocks, isn't it? It's absolute shit. Ethereum has some unbelievable predictions that I think are absolute nonsense as well. There's all kinds of altcoins that have got some stupid predictions, and we'll probably go through a few now. But the fundamentals are, right, if anyone's new in the space and you're thinking, right, I want to buy an altcoin, and you see it's done like a 4 or 5x, and you're thinking, woohoo, that's pretty cool, take a bit off the table. Even if you take your original stake out and leave the rest as profit, to take the fire off your ass, basically, because that's what I'm going to do with Zilliqa. I'm just literally going to move a part of it onto an exchange and just risk it, right? It doesn't bother me in any way, shape, or form because it's only small equity. But for me, I'm looking at the equity and I think, well, that could make me 20 grand very, very easily what I've put in. But ultimately, if I can make some money in the next 12 months by just buying it at the lows and selling it at the tops and then rebuying back low on that amount and leaving what I've got on the exchanges just for that alone and leave whatever's on my cold wallet for the golden ticket aspect that if it shoots to the moon, happy days, I win regardless. So there's so many ways of managing it.
There is. There's a lot of ways of managing it. I want to go into some Ethereum predictions. On YouTube here, because YouTube is the mecca of insane predictions. So, Ethereum, have a guess. It begins with a 2. $200,000.
Oh, fuck off.
But there's a lot more conservative ones. So I'm just going to reel some off. So we've got a 2,000, which is, in my opinion, definitely going to be smashed at some point. We've got a 5,000, a 10,000. And then it goes up into insane ones I'm not going to read because it'll fucking make you sick. And then if we just jump onto the XRP crew, which is
fuck me,
the biggest moon boys in cryptocurrency history. And so $10, that's a very reasonable prediction in my opinion. I think we could max out there over the next 3 or 4 years, but there's some $50, $100, $1,000, and $10,000, and I'm not going to read any more of them because again, I'll probably make you sick and want to vomit all over the place.
589 and is one of them as well.
What is?
589 is a prediction for XRP as well.
Wow, 589. Imagine market cap on that.
Well, that's the thing. Like all the people in XRP, right? I'm a holder of XRP. I'm quite vocal that I feel that it's one of the ones that will shoot and it will shoot hard, right? It will just go mental, I think.
It's done it before, hasn't it? And I remember beginning of 2017 all the way to end it, or maybe just before, it was like a 20,000% price range from when it went up. And that move it made was just mental. And that must have been solely due to the speed and then the shilling crew behind it.
It was ridiculous, and I think it will happen again. And the thing is, like, the market cap matters. People say it doesn't matter, but it has to have a fair value. You cannot have an asset that fucking 50 million coins or whatever, 50 billion coins is going to be worth like $10,000 each. It's fucking unrealistic. It's crazy. And you can't have that. And it's the same with Bitcoin. It's like saying, oh, one Bitcoin is worth $1 million when you got 21 million only ever made, which absolutely crazy in reality when you think that it's going to make multi-billion trillionaires over time. And the problem is, right, XRP is the worst one for it. It's just simple maths. And you got to be realistic. If there wasn't as many in supply, it would probably be okay. But the way that they're looking to do their currency system is a bit different to most. But I understand $10, right? $10. If someone went to me, right, mate, you're going to get $10 for every single XRP you own, I will be like, all right, more than happy, mate. Thank you very much, right? But people will, right? We've already spoke about it. It'll go to $10 and they don't realize the gratitude of the market on that price level. And they'll be like, no, I want this guy called Sniper Pro Active or fucking whatever on YouTube. He said he's going to go to $1,000. I'm going to wait. But that's the thing. If you were holding from like 50 cents or even now to $10, you are freaking stupid not to take profit. Like, you become a millionaire.
I don't think I'd be able to hold it all up to $10 buying at this price. It'd be.
I'd take stuff off the table as it goes.
You'd have to leave a fair chunk in, but I mean, you'd have to take some. Even if it hit $2-3, you'd be taking it out, wouldn't you? That's still a massive move from here. It's like 10-20x from what we are at now. It's mental.
Put it this way: if you had 1,000 XRP and it went to $10, it's 10 grand, right? 1,000 XRP is not a lot of money, realistically. Like, when you think about it, I mean, let me just work out on my phone. Because if you're going to buy 1,000 now, it's fucking nothing. It is literally
And over
hardly.
the next few months, if we do see what we're expecting in a dump, and like Lee was saying on Zoom call improvement the other day, was saying he could expect it to hit 6 cents. And imagine buying it at 6 cents and you hold it all the way up to that $10 level. That'd just be like, you'd have to have balls of steel, wouldn't you?
I would literally, if it went down to 6, even if it went down to 10 cents, right, I would be looking to buy more. And I would just buy a load and I'll be more than happy. And even if like the load that I've got goes to $1, I've made a significant amount of money. Realistically, when you think about it, I could easily run away and buy a house outright in cash. That's where the thing is. But people won't see that as a thing. They would just see it as like, no, there's some guy on Twitter called Summit saying it's going to go to $500. I'm going to wait for that. I mean, fucking hell, if someone offers you like 20, 30, 40 grand right in front of you, just press the freaking button and just go for it.
Because sell it and enjoy yourself.
Exactly. You got to live life. You got to enjoy it. And people, like I say, people will just hold on to the top and then they will not sell.
I think
they won't even realize.
There's like a psychological level where people want to be a millionaire, don't they? Like, I'm not selling this until I make $1 million or £1 million. And that's one issue there, isn't it? The psychological millionaires level.
The biggest problem you've got with life like that is risk takers always get burnt at some point. There's risk takers that are clever and there's risk takers that are reckless. And the reckless ones will be the ones that will never, ever appreciate that they have got money there to basically do whatever the hell they want with their life. And if you think about it, like whether you're a trader or an investor and someone goes to you, right, there's a year's salary right there. Wow, freaking hell, a year's salary. You can do so much with that. Even if you sell it and rebuy back low for another opportunity where it'll go up in value. Like, I don't think people realize the power that, say, for example, looking at XRP, right? You bought at 20 cents. And even if you went and sold your profit at $2 at the time and just went, I'm happy with that, I'm going to leave that in Tether for some lows to come in. Even if it shoots up to $3, which it did, it only was there for about a week and then it came hurtling down. If you then re-put all that capital of profit back into XRP and some other coins, like literally a year later, you have so much equity and multiples at risk, basically, working for you without putting any extra capital in and make it having just huge bags. Like if you had 1,000 XRP and it went to $3, cool, take profit, you've made a lot of money. Putting $3,000 in at the bottom, or roughly about 10 cents, 20 cents, whatever, that is so much more XRP that if it does it again, it will literally propel you to freaking financial freedom very, very quickly. It's scary that people don't see that.
It will happen again. Like we say, everything moves in cycles and it's got to come down if it's been up, hasn't it? And them levels are great for getting an accumulation. But I just want to wrap up today and ask you a question, quite a serious question, Miss. What do you think the price of Bitcoin will be in 2082? No, I'm joking. What do you think? What do you think the yearly lows and the yearly highs will be this year?
I think the yearly lows will be 3.7. I think we're going to tap that again. We've already been there. We're going to tap it. And I think yearly high, I think we've already done it. I think at 10,400 level, I think that's it. I don't think, like, people will say, oh, you bearish bastard. But I think we're going to run down nice and slow down to the low levels. And I think next year is the year we'll probably start seeing the scarcity factor of the miners. And then maybe, hopefully, if things go well, a bit more adoption. But in my viewpoint, I think we need to go low to go high. It just depends on the uptake. I think there's that many people that are put off by Bitcoin right now. And there's too much going on in the world that no one's buying it. And for me, I think that 10,400 is going to be a huge level to break, and it has to really hurdle it and like properly go for it. But we should have broken it now. If the sentiment was there and people were seeing the narrative that the world's going to shit and inflation's going to go through the roof, we would have already done it with not. And that's the weird thing. But If the stock market crashes, we're going to hurtle down to them support again. What about you?
Kind of agree. I am in the same area. So I think we will fill that CME gap at around $3,500. It just depends on. We'll have to reevaluate it, and it could drop lower. But all-time highs, I think we will do another late November. So in 2017, that November bull run was massive, and I think we will do a November run this year. But it's not going to be on that scale. But I think it'll be the start of this again. I reckon I'm saying around 16k towards the end of the year.
Yeah, I think it is possible, but I just think it depends on all the other situations in the world that we have presented right now.
So many factors to it all. I mean, economies are going to take an absolute battering soon. So
I think, Q2 results will be the worst ones, I think, for the stock market. When they are published and people realize the enormity of what's happened, I think people go, oh my fucking God, it's going to suck. And they'll be published in 2 months.
Thank you for tuning in. Join us here at the same time next Sunday.